Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor, Dr. Abdul Kalam, has arrived. As you can see in the screen, he's being welcomed by our chairman and founder, Mr. Atul Temurnikar.
We can see our Vice President, Justice C.S. Dharmadhikari, and
Dr. Abid Hussain.
Yes.
High Commissioner of India to Singapore, Dr. S. Jaishankar.
Mr. Inderjeet Singh.
Member of Parliament, Singapore.
And Dr. Abdul Kalam has just been welcomed with a garland presented by a student of our school. And Dr. Abdul Kalam has just garlanded the statue of the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. As humankind struggles to find ways of living responsibly in the global village, many of Gandhi's teachings appear pertinent and are receiving renewed attention. The direction of his thoughts is challenging and points to a holistic worldview. We can see Dr. Abdul Kalam making his way to unveil the plaque for the official opening of the GIIS's third campus at Balestier. He's being greeted by a few students of our school.
Our student volunteers look extremely happy to meet our former president.
His Excellency is now making his way to the plaque.
He's greeting all the children of Balestier campus.
Dr. Abdul Kalam has a certain fondness for children, and this shows on the screen. And there's Mr. Atul Temurnikar, our chairman, escorting His Excellency. And we have students waving the Indian and Singaporean flags in front of His Excellency Dr. Abdul Kalam.
Dr. Kalam specialized in aeronautical engineering at the Madras Institute of Technology. Affectionately known as the Missile Man of India, he was responsible for the development and operationalization of Agni and Prithvi missiles. He played a key role in the nuclear tests at Pokhran in the Rajasthan desert on May 11th, and he led the country with the help of 500 experts to arrive at the Technology Vision 2020, giving a roadmap for transforming India from the present developing status to a developed nation.
Dr. Kalam has not only delivered indigenous satellite launches, indigenous guided missiles, and made India a nuclear power state, but he also continues to inspire the youth of today. He has spent all his life near the three water frontiers of India. The newspaper boy from the Rameshwaram coast on the Indian Ocean spent 20 years dreaming of space frontiers at the Thumba Space Center on the Arabian Sea. The dreams of the next 20 years were mostly conjured up on the shores of the Bay of Bengal, where he test-launched missiles.
Dr. Kalam is interacting with the members of our student council.
And there we have it. The plaque of the official opening of the GIIS's third campus at Balestier has been unveiled.
Friends, my Greetings to all of you. First of all, I would like to greet Dr. Abid Hussain, Justice Dharmadhikari, and our High Commissioner, Dr. Jaishankar, Sri Indrajit Singh ji, and Chatu Bode, and Atul, and Sri Atul, all the teachers, students, and parents. Wish you all the best. Friends, I am indeed delighted to participate in the opening new campus of the Global Indian International School, Singapore, and interact with the students of GIIS from different campuses. I am happy that GIIS, apart from running many schools in Singapore and Malaysia, are working on tribal development projects in Gujarat, a state of India, through their Flip of Generation project with an aim of empower the Adivasi children with education. When I see all the GIS environment today with the kind of quality education important in GIS in Singapore, I visualize the GIS should be represented equally by all the Singaporeans. Who are the all Singaporeans? They may be Malay's origin, Chinese origin, and Indian origin. Then we get a great education. Nowhere any better education we can have if all the people of the society become students of this great institution. And it is essential to work for it. I would be happy if the GIS follows the principle of 70-30 principle, which is very popular in India now. What is that 70-30 principle? That means 30% of the students you may provide education, free education, and who cannot afford the higher education what you are importing, and 70% of course you have to charge. I hope you will provide that opportunity in the near future. My congratulations to all of you. As I am in the campus of a school named as Global Indian International School in Singapore, I was thinking what it means. It immediately brings to my mind the potential diversity of human mind to perform multitask if properly trained. It signifies that we are part of a whole. I see the youth development has multiple dimensions. The youth working hard, improving his knowledge or her knowledge with a career goal can serve the family, can serve the society, can serve the nation to which he or she lives, and can serve the humanity as a whole. All are complementary, but the starting point in education, what is the starting point? Education with value system. Hence, I have chosen to share my thoughts with you on the topic education is the primary mission. Education is the primary mission. When the students come out of the educational institutions, certain capacities are required to be built in them to deal with the real world, particularly to grow in their professional career and participate in the national global development. I suggest that the ingredients for the capacity building must be embedded right from the beginning of the student's life, from the primary education to the higher education. What are these capacities? The capacities required to be built among the students in their formative years by the education institutions are the capacity for research or inquiry, the capacity for creativity and innovation, the capacity to use high technology, the capacity for entrepreneurial leadership, and the capacity for moral leadership. These type of capacity had to be built among the student teachers also have to have the capacity. Now let us take research and inquiry. The 21st century is about the management of all the knowledge and information we have generated and the value addition we could bring to it. We must give our students the skills with which they find a way through the sea of knowledge that we have created and continue with lifelong learning. Today, we are empowered by technology to teach ourselves beyond classrooms and become the lifelong learners. This is indeed required for sustained economic development of the nations and also individual prosperity. Next is creativity and innovation. The management of knowledge in 21st century is beyond a capacity of a single individual or a single institution. The amount of information that we have around is overwhelming. The management of knowledge, therefore, must move out of the realm of the individual and shift into the realm of a networked groups. The student must learn how to manage knowledge collectively and work in multidisciplinary teams. When the information is networked, the power and the utility of the information grows multifold as predicted by Metcalfe's law. And information that is static does not grow. In the new digital economy, information that is circulated across the enterprise creates innovation and eventually contributes to the national wealth. Every student in our schools and colleges should be brought in contact with technology to aid their learning process. In the midst of all the technological innovation and revolution, we cannot think that the role of teachers would be diminished. In fact, the teacher will become even more important, and the whole world of education will become teacher-assisted and would help in teleporting the best teacher and propagate the knowledge. The teacher becomes a facilitator and knowledge manager. For full utilization of the available, for full information of the available connectivities through satellite and high-resolution optical fiber communication with technologies, the most critical aspects of the availability of quality content. I would suggest all the experts here to address the important issue. The aptitude for entrepreneurship should be cultivated right from the beginning, and in the educational environment, both in the schools and the colleges. We must teach our students to take calculated risk for the sake of larger gain, but within the ethos of good business. They should also cultivate a disposition to do things right. The teachers and administrators as a role model is very, very important. The inner being must be illuminated with righteousness. This capacity will enable them to take up challenging tasks later. Finally, the moral leadership. Moral leadership involves two aspects. First, it requires the ability to have a compelling and powerful dreams or vision for human betterment. Moral leadership requires a disposition to do the right thing and influence others also to do right things. Now I would like to share with you my experience while I was in a college. I remember the lecturers given by the highest authority of a Jesuit institution, Reverend Father, a rector, Kolathil of St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu in southern India. Every week on a Monday, the Reverend Father will take a class for an hour. He used to talk about good human beings, present and past, and what makes a good human being. In this class, he used to give lectures on personalities such as Buddha, Confucius, Saint Augustine, Khalifa Umar, Mahatma Gandhi, Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, and moral stories linked to our civilization heritage. In the moral science class, Father Kolathil used to highlight the best aspect of how the great personalities have been evolved as a good human beings through parental care, teaching, and companionship of great books. Even though these lessons were given to me in 1950s, during my college days, they inspire me even today. It is essential that in the schools and colleges, Lectures are given by great teacher of the institution once in a week for 1 hour on civilization heritage. This may be called as moral science class that will elevate the young minds to love the country, to love the other human beings, and elevate them to higher planes. I talked about this model in my address to the European Parliament with members from 27 countries. In sum, inquiry, creativity, technology, entrepreneurial, and moral leadership are the 5 capacities required to be built through the education process. If we develop in all our students these 5 capacities, we will produce autonomous learner, a self-directed, self-controlled, lifelong learner who will have the capacity to both respect authority, at the same time is capable of questioning the authority in an appropriate manner, of course. This would enable them to grow as a leaders who would work together as a self-organizing network and contribute to the national and global development. I am sure GIS is building these capacities among the youth and are studying in this institution. Dear students, how many of you students, lift your hand, students. Who are the students here? Students, oh, most of you, okay. Now you have to, cannot be sit silent, you have to interact with me. Ready? Ready? Very good, okay. Dear student, when you complete the education, what you will carry with you, it is knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge has 3 components: creativity, righteousness, plus courage. Knowledge is equal to? Very good, 100 marks, okay. Now, the combination of these characteristics can generate a enlightened citizen. When you go out of this campus, what you are carrying? Knowledge. Knowledge has got 3 components, and that is creativity, righteousness, and courage. Now let us take, what is creativity? Will you repeat with me? Yes? Okay. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great, very good. Knowledge makes you, so repeat with me, knowledge makes you great. The next component, what is the next component? Righteousness. Now you are going to repeat with me. This is not only for students' parents, student teachers, and student leaders, for all of you, okay. Where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So friends, righteousness in the heart, who will give? If you have righteousness in the heart, you can have beauty in the character, you can have harmony in the home, we can have order in the nation, and we can have peace in the world. That means one single item, righteous in the heart. Who will give the righteous in the heart? Who will give? Guess, students, guess. Who can give the righteous in the heart? Eh? Father, mother, teacher, primary school teacher. Okay? So friends, now what is the third component in knowledge? Fantastic children as you are. Courage to think different, courage to invent, courage to travel into an unexplored path, courage to discover the impossible, courage to combat the problems and succeed are the unique qualities of the youth. As the youth of my nation, I'll work hard and work with courage to achieve success in all the missions. Now, you know, friends, knowledge makes you great. To make you great, you have to have three components. Okay? Creativity, righteousness. Very good. Hence, friends, now you realize knowledge is equal to the equation. Okay? I have written in your book also. Knowledge is equal to creativity plus righteousness plus courage. Now, the teachers and educators may like to see how the real knowledge can be imparted to the students. First of all, the teacher, when he or she teaches, the creativity, righteousness, courage, all these three components should be there with the teacher. So very important, teacher also need, fortunately Singapore has got a beautiful system teaching, that the primary school, secondary school teachers, teaching of teachers. Dear friends, as I am with the young students in the process of shaping the vision of your life at this point, I thought of sharing with you a few experiences. I am sure it will inspire your thinking and action. It was the year 1936. None of you were even the idea formed. I recall my initiation of education at the age of 5 years in Rameshwaram, Panchayat Elementary School. I had a teacher, Muthuaya, who took special interest on me mainly because I performed very well in the class exercise. He was impressed, and next day he came to my house to tell my father that I was a very good student. How many teachers, as soon as students score 100 marks in mathematics, immediately take the telephone and tell the parents? How many teachers? How many teachers? Lift your hand, teachers. Okay. My parents were very happy, got my favorite sweet from my mother. Another important event while I was in the first class, which I cannot forget, one day I did not turn up to my school. Teacher Muthuaya noticed my absence. Same when he came to my father to ask what the problem was and why did I not come to school, whether he can do anything to help me. That's a great teacher. On that day I was having fever. Another important thing which he noticed, my teacher noticed, was my handwriting was very poor in those days, even now. He gave a 3-page writing exercise and told my father that he should ensure that I do the exercise every day regularly. By this action of my teacher Muthuaya, my father told me in the later years that teacher Muthuaya is not only a good teacher to me in teaching, but he influenced and shaped me with good habits. He was a noble friend to our family. That should be the teacher. That should be a great teacher. First class, I am remembering my first class teacher Muthuaya. Even today I realize how many teachers love teaching and took personal interest to bring up his people or her people. Now let me talk about another one small incident. I was in 5th class at the age of 10. I had a teacher, Sri Siva Subramania Iyer. In my book I have written about him one chapter. He was one of the very good teachers in our school. All of us loved to attend his class and hear him. And he was teaching about, one day he was teaching about the bird's flight. He drew a diagram of a bird on the blackboard depicting the wings, tail and nose and everything. And when he explained all the students, he thought we all understood. Most of us did not understand. But he realized, he took us the seashore and showed how the seabirds fly in formation 10, 15, then why wings are being flapped, birds when they are flying, immediately we understood why, how change the direction, what is the locomotive force, all these things within 15 minutes, a theoretical lessons and also a experimental work he gave us, we learnt. Most important thing for me, it's not only why I learned that teaching, but also he gave me a vision in my life. That something to do with the flight I have to do. And definitely it helped me. And I became physics student, then aeronautical engineering student. I became a rocket engineer, then space technologies. So friends, finally the teachers put you ahead also. Even when I went to St. Joseph College, Dotadri Iyengar, mathematics teacher, he will put us ahead, always 10 years ahead of us in the program. So finally, friends, what I would like to convey in conclusion, that youth has got the power of ideas, ambition, enthusiasm, and the ability. How many of you want to become engineers? How many of you want to become engineers? Okay, very good number. Okay. How many want to become doctors? Fantastic numbers, doctors. Okay. How many of you want to become teachers? I am also a teacher, okay. Teacher, okay. How many of you want to become political leaders? Political leaders. Not bad, not bad. Very good. Young fellows should go to political leaders and change the politics to developmental politics. How many of you want to go to Mars? Okay. I will meet you. I'll meet you there. So friends, I would like to assert to all of you that no youth today, wherever he is, no youth today need to fear about the future. No youth need to fear about the future. How? If you have an aim in life, what you will do? You have to acquire the knowledge. If you have a aim, just now you told me, you have an aim in life. And then you have to acquire the knowledge. How do you acquire the knowledge? You must have three friends. Great books, great friends, great teacher. Acquire the knowledge. Third one, you have to sweat. Sweat means hard work. And the fourth one is the perseverance. When the problem comes, and you should not get afraid of the problem. You have to defeat the problem and succeed. What are the four things? Aim in life, acquire the knowledge, hard work, and perseverance. So friends, I am very happy to meet all of you and wish you all the best. And now you are going to take with me, particularly for students, okay? Oath you are going to take. Ready? Ready? Yes or no? Oh. I realize that small aim is a crime. I will have a goal and work hard to achieve that goal. Will you do it? I will. Next one. I will work with integrity and succeed with integrity. Even the first few rows also it's true. And the dice also true. See, it is like this, all of us true. I work with integrity. I work with integrity and succeed with integrity. Dear children, if you find in your home it's not happening, you can change the parents, okay? Okay. So, motto, today what you have learned, I work with integrity, I succeed with integrity. Okay. Next one, I will be a good citizen, a good member of the family, good member of the society, good member of the nation, and good member of the world. Finally, for all this, you have to be a good human being. Last, I will always to save or better someone's life. Will you do it? Wherever I am, a thought will always come. Wherever I am, a thought will always come to my mind. That is, what can I give? What can I give? What can I give? Each one of you think, what can I give? All of you. All of us. Then when you start giving happiness, you don't need to have money. Knowledge you can give. A good heart you can give. So friends, with this, I will say, I will always protect and enhance the dignity of every human life. And I will always work for clean home, clean neighborhood, clean nation, clean planet Earth. So as a youth of the globe, I will work with courage to achieve success in all my tasks. Wish you all the best, friends. Question record. Friends, number of questions I have received from you. I can't answer all the questions. But one thing I will do, I will select 5 questions. Then remaining question, I will go to my website, www.abdulkalam.com. You will find all the questions have been answered in 2 days' time. But today, in random, Isha Ravichandran. Where are you, Isha? Isha Ravichandran? Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I am from class 4.
Yes.
Sir, a great president or a great scientist, which role is more satisfying for you and why?
A good teacher. Next one, Tirupura Hariharan, East Coast Campus. Hariharan? Acha, you are the one. Tirupura, Samyukta, okay. Yes.
Good morning, sir. I'm Tirupura class 9. My question is, how do you motivate yourself and keep energetic every day?
Well, I personally believe you must have one thing, your great companion. That's a great book. Each one of you. For me, one book for last 55 years, I purchased second-hand book. And the Light from Many Lamps by Watson. You must have a good friend. That the book is the best friend. But you should select a good book, okay? Okay. The next one. Now, Arusha, where are you, Arusha? Yes.
Good morning, sir. I'm Anisha from class 7. My question is, as the president, what role did you envisage for the girl child in India?
Well, see, girl child is a very important component of the society. If a girl child is not there, no mother, okay, no daughter, and no companion, that is the wife, so whole society will collapse. So I personally believe that all the actions are being taken in our country to give all the necessary structure so that children will become a very important component of our society. Now the next question, Saloni, easy, Saloni, S-C-A-L-O-N-I, Saloni, where are you?
My question is,
Why only girls are asking questions? Okay. That means they have freedom, full freedom they have.
What are the pros and cons of India having signed a nuclear treaty with the US?
You are a political girl. What's your ambition to become?
In legal definition.
Fantastic. Now, what are the pros and cons of India having signed the nuclear deal with the US? It is like this. India has got 14 nuclear reactors which generates power, electricity. Now, another 6 will be added another few years' time. All our nuclear reactors are powered by uranium. It's all uranium-based nuclear reactor. But uranium, you do not have sufficient uranium, but we have a lot of thorium. Thorium is not a fissile material. We have to convert as a fissile material using the fast breeder reactor. Our scientists, atomic energy scientists are working very hard. 7 to 10 years' time, we'll be in the thorium-based nuclear reactors. But till then, this pact, if it comes through, definitely is going to help us. Wherever uranium is there, we can buy it. Now, Devika Kulkarni. Devika? Yes. Yes, at most last question, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Devika from class 8B.
Yeah.
Sir, you always speak positively about India's future. According to you, what are the top 3 barriers that we need to overcome to achieve our goal of really becoming Sapno Ka Bharat?
See, I don't have 3, but I have 1. Okay, for not only for India, any country. See, in India, we have youth power, about 54%. That is 540 million people below 25 years. In your age group, there are 200 million people. Now imagine, all the youth of India or any country, they say, I can do it. Okay? What does it mean? I can do it. Your confidence, I can do it. That is one of the greatest resources a nation can have. If you say, now you repeat, I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do it.
I can do it.
We can do it.
We can do it.
Our nation will do it.
Our nation will do it.
That's a message. Aman Mittal. Aman Mittal, where are you? Very
Good morning, sir. I'm Aman from class 8.
Yeah.
My question is, I'm an aspiring rocket scientist and you are my role model, sir. What advice will you give to me and my schoolmates?
Well, if you want to become a space scientist, you call yourself space scientist because when your work gets enlarged, for space scientist or rocket scientist, first you must go 10th, at 10+1 you must take a subject, okay? Physics, chemistry, mathematics. Mathematics must, okay? Then second thing is, after 10+2 you select where the aerospace engineering in the institution. And definitely it will lead you to rocket science, okay? But you have to take 90% marks. Now, I don't get disappointed because a lot of questions you guys have asked, but I will put in my website and www.abdulkalam.com. If you want, any one of you has got a question, send a mail to me, apj@abdulkalam.com. APJ, 24 hours you will get an answer. Wish you all the best.